Some of you won't know this, but I love exploring places, and especially places where energy is at its strongest. You know the kind of place, the weird places. Things like ley lines, spiritual stuff, where religions meet, stone circles. Just some of the things that we can't really explain. Places of power, sacred places. And with a little bit of AI help, I've come up with a list. And this place is my first one. It's a place where Neolithic meets Christianity. It's a place with more than 4,000 years of energy, where two very different times came to meet. And you might just be able to see it there. Now this is Knowlton Church and Earthworks. That is a pretty, well, compared to the rest of the site, that's pretty new. But this is where two religions meet. We have a church built for the Christians, built inside of this awesome earth mound. But this, the fact that it's built right in the middle of it, how cool is that? So what exactly is this place? It's a medieval church that might have seen better days, built inside of the Neolithic Henge monument. It's really, really cool. The two religions, pagan and Christianity, coming together. But my main question is, why would you build it here? Why build it in the middle of a Henge monument? Now, the Henge that I'm walking on here dates back over 4,000 years. And the church was built in the 12th century, reclaiming a pagan sacred site. Until this day, it still remains an incredibly spiritual site too, having a lot of visitors during the solstice. People coming down here to do rituals, fires and celebrations. And the other thing to note is that it is notably placed on some very important ley lines. So when we talk about energy, this place has got it. Should we go have a closer look? Now the henge, this circle structure that I'm walking on here, has been made up of earth. And the circle is really important because we're talking about symbolism. And a circle is a symbol of eternity, infinity, the natural cycle that we all have to go through. But that church wasn't placed here by accident. Think of it a bit like a spiritual claim, claiming the energy of this place. But the only question I have is, why here? What is so special about this area? Now, ley lines, energy, but I would have loved to have been here in that time, to see the two being created. What stood here when the pagans were here? And obviously it looks very different to that now. But wouldn't you have loved to have been here in this time? Because these mounds, they're not made for defences. Are they just here for symbolism? Are they here for another reason? What do you think? Now, the Norman church was built here in the 12th century, or around that. But that wasn't the only addition to be made. The North Chapel was constructed in the 15th century, and the tower was added in the 18th. But unfortunately, the roof of the tower collapsed in the late 1700s. I would have loved to have seen what this place looked like in its heyday, in both eras, to be fair. Now, excavations of Church Henge suggest that it might have been used for ceremonial burial purposes, and it could be linked to spiritual leaders and trade networks. What I love is the carvings. The people that have been here and etched their presence. Look at this place. Oh, that's so nice away from the sun. Now, along with most sites, there's a lot of hauntings happened here. They say you can still hear a stallion running around the fields. You can still find the watchman cursed to eternity to look over the land. Apparently there's a nun that kneels in that spot just there, praying and sobbing. But what an incredibly stunning place. Just full of history and memories. I would have loved to have seen this place when it was finished. Now, there are some rumours that apparently a congregation never was held here, and that the energy of the land wouldn't allow it. If you believe in that thing. And I love the fact that it's still used for spiritual practices to this day. The energy is just as strong here as it once was. And I'm really glad that it's still being used, that it's not been forgotten. And I guess that's kind of why I like exploring these places, because history does kind of fade away. These places that held so much power just become forgotten about. And this one is a special one. The mix of the two, the Neolithic, the Christian, is all coming together into an absolute incredible sight.